skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first Wednesday of each month at 9:30 to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you. Started in 1975, it's Yendel's Building Materials. Whether you're making repairs, adding a room, or building a house, Yendel's constantly delivers excellent service and top quality materials and many of the tools and hardware you need to get the job done. At Yendel's, they take pride in supplying their customers with new and innovative products. Yendel's experience in truss design, manufacturing, and component materials is second to none. 834 North Magnolia Avenue in Ocala, 732-3000. Stop by to experience the difference.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Finally, shipping made easy. Just Ship is your answer to your shipping aggravation. They come pick up your package and ship it for you. Birthday gifts, eBay sales, or an online return. Just Ship can handle all of them for you. Act now and you can save 20% on an annual subscription, which will take you through the 2020 holiday months. Go to www.justship.net now and take the aggravation out of shipping.
Howdy folks, RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named. The man, the myth. The only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. Before the break, we were talking about the Electoral College and why it's there. And it's there to make sure that all states are on an equal footing, from the smallest populated state to the largest populated state. And it was a compromise between those who wanted the popular vote to be the way that the president was chosen and the people who wanted the Senate or the House of Representatives, Congress, to decide how the president, who would be elected president. So this was the compromise that was given to them, and it's held up for 200 and some odd years of the Constitution. 1787 was the Constitutional Convention, so it's held up pretty good. Hi, caller, who's this?
Yeah, this is Jim. The 3/5, the infamous 3/5 situation with the slaves in the South was imposed by the North because, well, if you're not going to let them vote, they shouldn't count as a full person and give you extra representation in Congress. And so they grumbled and accepted it. And then, of course, we changed that with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. But that was the original reason for the 3/5 was they shouldn't be able to take advantage of the bodies without giving them the vote.
100%, and we fixed that with the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. Thanks for the call, Jim.
All right, have a good day.
Yeah, like I said, the founding forefathers were flawed in some things, but we have subsequently, through amendments, changed some of the Constitution that had its flaws. Now, let me tell you that ever since Al Gore's popular victory in 2000, but then George Bush actually won the Electoral College, bills have been introduced into every single state to change the process of electing president. Initially, most proposed switching to the system used by Maine and Nebraska. Most recent advocates have done for a complete switch to a nationwide popular vote. And underneath this system, a state would promise that it would give all its electoral votes to the party that wins the national popular vote rather than the party that wins wins a state popular vote. And that defeats the purpose of independent United States. Each state should vote the way their citizens want them to vote, not the way the national citizens want them to vote. That's why we're individual states. Think of the United States as 50 individual countries that send representatives to a central government to then oversee all 50 of them working together. Abolishing, people say, well, we'll just abolish the Electoral College. Just get rid of it. Not so fast, my friends. To get rid of the Electoral College, that requires a constitutional amendment. Such a move necessitates a 2/3 vote of both chambers. That's 2/3 vote in the House and in the Senate, followed by a ratification by the legislatures of 3/4 of the states. 38 states have to say, yeah, we agree with Congress, we agree with the Senate, we agree with the House of Representatives and the Senate that we need to change the Constitution and change the Electoral College. That probably ain't happening anytime in my lifetime. But that's why the Constitution is such a great piece of legislation, such a great piece of, such a great document of freedom, is that it makes it where everybody has to work in concert to change it. You can't just get 2/3 of a vote in the House of Representatives. You got to have a 2/3 vote in the House and a 2/3 vote in the Senate. Then once you have that, then it gets sent to each individual state whose legislations then vote whether they accept it or not. And you got to have 38 of the 50 states say they accept it or it doesn't change. The Electoral College is here. It's going to stay here. Now, states can change how they count. States can say, hey, we give all our votes to whoever wins the national election. That's up to a state to change it if they want to. And there's different processes in every state on how they can change their electoral college awards. That's why it's a beautiful document. That's why we work so well, is we're 50 united states. Think of it as 50 united countries, because that's basically what we are. Each state has its own economy. Each state has its own representatives with a House and a Senate and a governor, just like you have a House, a Senate, and a president, except for Nebraska, which is monocameral, which is just one house. But that's why this document is so great. And look, if you don't like it, by the way, 1824 is the first time that it came into play, when an established candidate won in an election over the popular vote winner, because the popular vote winner was an outsider who people thought was wild and crazy, brash, with an insensitive attitude towards most people. His hair was wild and out of control. He was an outsider. He wasn't a politician. How dare this heathen woodsman come to Washington, where us educated men are, and think he could become part of the process? Sound familiar? 2016, Donald Trump. We're talking about the election that was handed to John Quincy Adams, even though Andrew Jackson had won the popular vote. Jackson did become president in 1828, and boy, he punished people for not giving him that election. I'm tired of people saying, oh, this is the most crooked president ever in the history of the United States. Wrong answer. But the most crooked president, the most scandalous president, the worst president in my estimation, and a lot of historians' estimations, won the presidency on this day back in 1920. Do a little research. Find out about who Warren G. Harding is. You want to talk corrupt. Warren G. Harding had a mistress who became pregnant. He was in the pocket of the New York and New Jersey mob. The Teapot Dome scandal happened under his watch. Warren G. Harding was a man that was on the take, and he was president of the United States. You want to talk about bad presidents, and I don't care whether you think Donald Trump's bad or good. It's up to you. How do you decide? But you really want to see a scoundrel? Go back and read up about Warren G. Harding, who was elected on this day in 1920, beating James M. Cox in a landslide victory. Yeah, you hadn't seen corrupt or scandalous till you go read about Warren G. Harding. And that's the beautiful thing about history, is it's not going anywhere. If you think Donald Trump is this terrible person, this terrible politician, horrible person, he's terrible for the country, go research Warren G. Harding and then get back to me. Warren G. Harding makes Donald Trump look like a school choir boy. Warren G. Harding was quite possibly one of the worst human beings ever to hold public office in this country. So before you start telling me how bad Donald Trump is, do a little research and go see how bad Warren G. Harding is. It's kind of like the difference between Joe and I. I'm a great guy. Joe's Warren G. Harding. That's how that works. That's how that works. Joe is Warren G. Harding. I'm a good guy. No?
Let's see. You, Nixon.
I'm probably Nixon. You're probably right. I would probably try to cover it. I'd probably be too dumb to realize I couldn't get away with it and try to cover it up.
18 minutes of tape going. Well, I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Hey, I could actually say
I'm not.
I could actually say I have no idea what happened because I don't know what I'm doing over here with the tape machine. So I could get away with that probably.
Yes, true. That's true.
Probably.
I am not a crook.
Joe, you're okay with the Electoral College, right?
It's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
I know your son is a big opponent of it, wants to get rid of it right away. Constitutional amendment. 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, and 3/4 of all the United States have to agree before you can get rid of it. Guess what that means?
It's going.
Not going anywhere.
No, not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere. When you got to get 2/3 of 435 congressmen to agree, 2/3 of 100 senators agree, and in 3/4, 75% of 50 states' legislations to agree, it'll be a while.
You first have to educate everybody about it.
Well, that's the other thing. People don't know what the hell it does, or who is. What I hate is it's not transparent. I want to know who the electors are, who the party leaders of each state are that are the electors. But we don't get to know that.
You don't get to know that.
Constitution doesn't say you need to know that. All it says is that it can't be somebody holding elected office at the time.
Do you know what they were doing back then?
Well, hey, I'm not saying the founding forefathers, they had their faults, don't get me wrong. They counted living, breathing humans as 3/5. They had their problems. They owned men and women and children like cattle or dogs, okay?
Well, that's like
we had problems.
That's like $1.99 and 9 cents for gas.
Right. It's $2, folks. It's not $1.99 and 9 cents.
And so get rid of the 9 tenths.
$2.
Get rid of the 9 tenths. That's it. Yeah.
Joe,
telephone.
Joe, I got a story that I saved just for you.
I am so impressed.
I knew you would be in, so I saved this for you.
Yeah.
Let me find the headline.
The headline is.
Where's it at now? Dadgummit. It's got to be here somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm looking through all my papers now. Here it is.
Oh, I thought you conveniently lost it. Okay.
Goat's DNA needs to be checked.
Why?
Wouldn't that headline make you stop? Goat's DNA needs to be checked.
So let's see. There was a bunch of goats that broke into something. They want to get the one that did it.
Nope. Okay, a story like this, goat's DNA need to be checked.
Okay,
what state do you think that originated in?
Oh, my goodness. Arkansas.
So a Florida woman.
Oh, sugar pops. Oh, sugar pops.
There's never been the need for a Florida Animals version of the Maury Povich Show.
Oh, gee. Here we
Until
go.
now.
Yes.
A Florida woman has sued her neighbor to get the paternity test of a goat.
A paternity test of a...
You can't make this up.
Okay. Why was it...
Court documents show Chris Hedstrom filed a civil lawsuit against Heather Daner in late May for the refusing to turn over the DNA of a sire who fathered the 4 goats she purchased. Although the statement of claim lists 4 goats, the Tampa Bay Times reported there are actually 5 goats.
Uh-oh.
Hedstrom, who is seeking either the DNA test or a refund plus court fees, bought 5 Nigerian dwarf goats from Dana in December of 2019.
And what's the problem?
She tried to register them with the American Dairy Goat Association, an organization that collects and stores data of goat pedigrees. I had no idea this was a thing.
There's goat pedigree.
Just like dog or horse. Okay.
Well, I have a goat.
There's more.
Oh, good.
Only to have her application denied.
Because?
Registered goats command more value than unregistered ones, and the AGA said Dana only had 1 registered buck. Okay. Hedstrom accuses her of having another who sired the goat she bought because they didn't have the same bloodline.
Oh, so she caught somebody.
I will turn over all the evidence to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department Agriculture Unit for a fraud investigation and file a formal complaint with the ADA in an effort to hinder your ability to continue to sell goats as registered without proper documentation. This was a letter she wrote in February of this year.
There was a hole in the fence. There was a hole in the fence. There was a hole in the fence that someone got through.
So this woman is suing because she says
the wrong buck.
The registered buck is not the dad of her goats.
Right, the wrong buck. The buck didn't stop there.
The buck didn't stop there.
So
she wants
henceforth
a DNA test.
Well, I don't blame her.
Of the sire who fathered the 4 goats she purchased. She purchased Nigerian dwarf goats.
So I would presume, because she paid top dollar for it, for the goats, I would presume, I'm on her side. I would presume that, hey, if I paid top dollar and they say, oh, I'm sorry, and that's not what you know. Give me my money back. Here's your goats back. Go milk them.
Can you milk a goat? You can milk. Look, if it's got nipples, you can milk it. I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Some great line from Meet the Fockers.
Oh, thank you.
It's a great line from that. Remember Robert De Niro?
I know Robert De Niro.
I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Yeah. Would you want to?
Yeah, well, I've shared.
Oh, that's the one where we had the motor home and
right,
you had all the fancy stuff on the bottom.
I've talked about this earlier, but I want to get your reply to this.
Okay.
Have you heard about Carol and Ernie Kern?
No, tell me.
Carol and Ernie Kern, and I talked about this in the first hour. These are 2 great people here in Marion County. We need to find out who they are. Hank Whittier knows who they are, by the way.
Okay.
And we need to get them on the radio, and here's why.
Why?
One day, Ernie was at the Sumterville Cemetery where his dad is buried.
Okay.
He noticed a Vietnam veteran's headstone was overgrown and sunken into the ground.
Oh, I've met that couple.
You have met them?
I have met them, too, also. Yeah,
right.
They're up in age, too.
Right. The first one was a Vietnam vet. They had a military helmet next to his grave, so his son had an old shotgun. They filled it with concrete, stuck the barrel in the ground, screwed the helmet to the butt of the gun as a memorial. They used pavers to lift the headstones off the ground. They should be good for another 100 years, Kern says. He says the pavers have been donated by his daughter, who's in construction. He gets the American flags that mark the graves from Hank Whittier, who heads up the local Vets Helping Vets.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
They've replaced or fixed and cleaned up 1,000 veteran headstones.
Green.
Now, that's a great
Green something cemetery out there.
Evergreen.
It's Evergreen.
Here in town, or Greenwood. There's a lot of them here in town.
Yeah, but they.
Carol and Ernie Kern.
I met them last month, and it was.
That's a great thing.
My mouth dropped. This. You doing what? You do, and it's all volunteer.
Right.
And I met. They're up in age, and they're still. And he's still doing it, and it's amazing. Toothbrush and whatever brush in hand, and they, of course they document. They document every single. They have it all categorized. They have all the names. A lot of the cemeteries didn't have the names of the people that were in the ground.
So they've done the research to find out who it was and everything.
Everything. I mean, and they take a picture after
1,000 headstones.
And they're still doing it. They're not done.
No, they're not done. They're still doing it. These are the kind of stories we need.
The kind of people we need.
It gives me hope that humanity is not going down a black hole.
It's not lost.
Right.
It's not lost. And they're just doing the veterans ones right now, and it's like, Holy moly! What? And how did it get in such disarray?
Well, that's a good question. My best friend of all times that I did his eulogy. You remember when he passed away and I had to leave to go to Atlanta? Dino.
Yeah,
I was working here at the station then, and one of our other good friends, Gary, sent me a picture and goes, "Look what I had to do today." And he had a picture before and after. Now, Dino's only been buried 5 years in a very large, supposedly well-kept cemetery in the downtown Atlanta area.
Yeah.
You couldn't see his headstone.
Yeah.
Grass had grown right across it. It was gone. The only reason Gary found it is they were moving grass on. Oh, here it is. Took them 2.5 hours to find it. So they went out and cut all the grass away and cleaned it.
What's happening is, I grew up in Connecticut, as you know.
Right.
And there's no quote-unquote headstones that are even with the ground. They're monuments.
Right.
And I don't want to say lazy.
Well, we now put them even with the ground because you can mow.
Yeah, they can mow them. No.
But now the Bermuda grass in Florida, when you mow it, it spreads and it goes over the headstones.
Oh, yeah, it looks like caterpillars.
Right.
Oh, yeah, so it's you've got to work it. So I'm thinking if they're going to bring them, and that's what these people are doing, they're bringing the headstones up so they're above the ground by 2 inches or whatever it is. So they got to go with a weed whacker around it. Well, then
you mean they have to do their job?
Go around with a weed whacker.
Yeah.
Go around with a weed whacker.
They're veterans. They deserve to have a discernible headstone that people know they're there. And know that their service and when they were lost and stuff like that.
Yeah. And we're just talking veterans. We're not talking about regular people.
And the fact that this is Marion County. They're in Marion County, and they've done 1,000 in Marion County.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. How many times have you driven down the road and you see this? I know a place. You're driving down the road, and there's a little steel fence. A little steel fence.
Right.
And there's like 3 or 4 graves in there. You could just about see the graves, but they're in there from whenever, whomever, not a house around, just this little in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Now
where an old clapboard Baptist church probably, or a Pentecostal church used to be that's no longer.
Or a house.
Or, yeah.
Years ago when someone died.
The family was all laid to rest on the family land.
That's right, exactly.
You can drive down, there's roads between here and Alachua County that you can drive down some of the side roads and find little grave cemeteries like that. Headstones will read 1802 to 1837.
I've driven it in Citra.
Right.
I think it was Citra. You drive down the road, and now this is off of 301, and you take a right, and you go down.
On 318, I know exactly where you're talking about.
No, this is dirt road.
Oh, okay.
Dirt road. And you gotta know where you're going, and they gave me directions. I went down there, and then they said, you'll see a cemetery on the right side of the road, and directly across on the left side of the road. White, black.
Right.
Or a color. I don't say
right.
Black. People of color. And I was in my big pickup truck, and I'm glad I was in my pickup truck because there's a couple of good old boys in their pickup truck watching me.
Right.
And I just drove by. I didn't stop. I looked, and there was both cemeteries, all fenced in, not totally overgrown, but pretty much.
Certainly.
But who knows when they're from?
No clue. But there's thousands and thousands of little cemeteries like that all over this country.
All over the world. The world
too, yeah, for that matter. The world too.
We'll stick to the U.S. of A.
But
did you see the new thing they said about the voting, for tomorrow?
No, what now?
Get off your butt. If the dead people can vote, you certainly can vote.
Of course. Of course, I agree with that. Hey,
tomorrow's a big day.
Tomorrow's a huge day. And by the way, Suntran offering free rides to polls on their regular routes, not their handicapped transit routes.
Oh, no,
their regular
routes. Yeah. I have a question for you though.
Go ahead.
Now, tomorrow you vote, and all the polls close at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, right?
Right.
When do you think the final, the absolute final decision? How many days after?
Friday.
No, that fast?
Yeah, I think Friday.
You think Friday?
Yeah, I think Thursday or Friday. Unless it's clear. It all depends on the swing states. And Pennsylvania is being the most one, and Pennsylvania has, according to court order, 2 days after the election to finish counting.
I thought North Carolina was a swing state also.
It is.
And
But
Florida, too?
Florida, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina. But that's because they assume that Joe Biden's going to win the Rust Belt of, Ohio, Michigan, that area, which Donald Trump won last time because the Democrats thought that there was no chance they could lose those. Michael Moore, who is a filmmaker who is a staunch Democrat, said their inability to go campaign in those states made those people in those states feel like they weren't needed anymore. So they voted the other way. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting election.
Oh, yeah.
But
definitely.
for people, I'm tired of people saying Donald Trump's the most corrupt, crooked president ever. No. Go look up Warren G. Harding, please.
Harding, Nixon, Clinton.
Okay. Well, okay. Whitewater. We'll go with that.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
We'll go with that. Ready for some birthdays?
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to who?
You know whose birthday it is?
I don't know. I didn't take the.
Hey.
Oh, that's right. 75.
Henry Winkler, 75 today.
Not
the Fonz.
That was the 30th, I thought it was.
Well, it says 1 year older. It says today on my,
really? Okay.
on my slip.
Bad.
Monday 11/2.
All right, my bad.
Slip I
my
got.
bad. Okay, cool. I was ahead of time.
Harry Hamlin from LA Law and Clash of the Titans.
Okay, yeah.
69. Mm-hmm. Cash Cab host Ben Bailey. I know you don't know what Cash Cab
Yes,
is.
I do.
Oh, do you? It's one of my favorite shows.
I like him. Yeah.
He's 50.
His voice reminds me of Mike Rowe.
And Matthew Morrison, who was in Glee, is 42 today.
Yeah.
Do you know that a survey shows? Yeah, here's one of those duh moments.
Okay, give me a duh moment.
A survey shows women prefer shoes more than men.
That's because they have the choice of many of them.
Duh.
I'll go with that.
You know women prefer shoes more than men.
I'll go with
That's
that.
why they own 50 pair of them.
Oh yeah. And what was that one? That Filipino?
Imelda Marcos.
Marcos. Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot how many pairs she had. One for each minute.
Are you ready for this? This
Sure.
would happen to you if you lived. Oh, yeah, we can't do it. We'll have to do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
From the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pride.
President Trump is scheduled to hold 5 rallies in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin Monday. His Democratic rival Joe Biden is expected in Pennsylvania and Cleveland, Ohio.
We have a president who's given up. I'll never give up, nor will America ever give up. We'll never wave the flag of surrender. We're going to beat this virus. The truth is, to beat the virus, we first got to beat Donald Trump. He's the virus.
Trump campaign advisor Kayleigh McEnany responds on Fox News.
We reduced the mortality rate by 85%, created a vaccine in record time by the end of the year. Therapeutics that work, the greatest testing system in the world. That's what this president did with the novel virus. What did Joe Biden do with the